Thank you, Pauline, for joining in on Zoom. You're in Berlin now, is that right?
It is right.
So thank you very much. And just for the ones who are not yet familiar with your work, I'm going to briefly introduce you with a short bio. Pauline Curnier Jardin is born in Marseille in France. She's a Berlin-based artist and works across installation, performance, film, and also drawing. She's the winner of the 2019 Preis der Nationalgalerie, the 2021 Villa Romana Prize in Florence, and recipient of the 2019 to 2020 Villa Medici Fellowship in Rome. Her work was included or commissioned over the last years in Steirischer Herbstfestival Graz, Manifesta 13 in Marseille, Ballet de Tokyo, Paris, the Bergen Assembly, Bergen Biennial, International Film Festival, Rotterdam, the 57th Venice Biennale, Tate Modern in London, Performa 15, New York, and so on. Curnier Jardin's upcoming solo exhibitions are Fat to Ashes at Hamburger Bahnhof Museum für Gegenwart Berlin, Feature at Art Basel, Krak in Set, Index in Stockholm, Central Museum in Utrecht, and next year she will also participate in group exhibitions at the Fondazione Sandretto Rere Baudegno in Torino, the Galleria Municipal do Porto, and Haus der Kulturen der Welt, Berlin. So a very busy schedule, I'd say. Also, if I'm right, you're just opening the exhibition at the Hamburger Bahnhof Museum very soon. So thank you even more for taking time tonight to give us insights into your practice and your work. And so I would say, without further ado, the floor is yours, and we're looking forward to having an insight into your practice. Thank you, Pauline.
So good evening, everyone. I hope you're doing fine. It's yes, and I'm happy that we are all gathered tonight, even though we all miss this physical encounters. But what can I say? Yeah, I'm very thankful that you're here and to be invited. I am indeed in Berlin preparing this big show, probably for now the biggest of my life. It's very exciting and also very challenging. And okay, I have prepared something. I will read a text. I really hope not to be too boring. What I can tell you that I have prepared like a lot of image. You will have a little wind, you know, you can keep my face talking to you, though I am reading, and you can change the size of my face, you know. So if you just like, if you feel like you would need a bit more of my my gesture, or you can enlarge the window, or you can have me in little. Voilà. I don't know what is the most, you know, entertaining for you after this month on Zoom, etc. So I am gonna share my screen. Okay, do you have the window? Just want to
Yes.
set. Okay, good. I always want to create a universe that itself has this naive ambition to confound the logics that divides human and non-human, rationality and emotion, sacred and profane, ally and enemy, masculine and feminine. I want to, instead of focusing on differences, to show how each is capable of interacting and combining, how each has alternatives, possibilities, and the freedom to do wonderful things. I studied dance, theater, performance, dance theory and history, in the same way I studied visual art and filmmaking, first by practicing it. If there was an academic term to define my research, it would be in body studies. This involves the use of historical subjects and events, anthropology, labor histories, myth, and the representation of women. In my previous film works, I have revisited the lives of Joan of Arc, Jeanne d'Arc in French, Bernadette Soubirous, the goddess Demeter, the prehistoric Venus of Willendorf, the birth of Jesus and his saint family, the anatomic theater of the Renaissance, the dark side of the same Renaissance, the specters of world wars, of religion, of exploitation and destruction that haunt the European past and present, and that is collectively displayed in the rituals and carnivals and within popular culture. It looks like a horn of plenty. I have chosen a selection of my most recent works, taking this track, how I treat and represent the body through different forms and medium, but also how my objective is to transform and intertwine different cultures, different topics and experience without hierarchy, but rather by following a narrative that can evolve like a dream, following my unconsciousness and a collective one. I often combine the documentary and the fictional. The work often starts as a performance before turning into filming material that can become part of an installation, a sculpture, or a live event. In my early work, the film Grotta Profunda, The Moody Chasm, I have asked to these characters the genealogy of the body, the death, the origin of races, the first representation of a woman, the nature, the culture, to perform in front of the eyes of a Catholic icon who thinks she has entered the body of the Virgin Mary, but who have instead dived into a sort of drag show of different human science objects. I made an installation for the 57th Venice Biennale in 2017, where I presented this film in an immersive installation called The Body of the Film, or Grotta Profunda Approfondita, the body of the film. The viewer enters the installation via giant gorilla hands and lay onto a giant placenta to watch the film. This was Grotta Profunda, my first attempt to understand more about the representation of the body during the Renaissance, when the invention of the perspective and technique and understanding of proportion that put the human body in the center of this knowledge, but also to explore this as esoteric as well as the erotic approach. So to explore the esoteric and the erotic approach of the Renaissance. 4 years later, I was invited by Performa Biennale in 2015 in New York to go a little further into this exploration. by dedicating a whole spectacle to the dark side of this important period in the history of European imperialism and development of capitalism, slavery, witch hunting, and Catholic missionaries. Here, on stage, the performers would excavate objects from a giant resurrection pool, and by changing costume, they would embody some of the complex aspects of the Renaissance representation. During this 75-minute ritual of abundance, the performers would also excavate some of the most violent part of this history and some of the most grotesque, the whole spectacle finishing with myself performing the German doctor Gunther von Hagens, who considered himself as an artist, and by on stage unfolding his macabre modern anatomic theater, and yeah, and to name one of the worst aspects of his practice. And this piece now is now a larger installation where you can see the captation of the film. Here you can see on the picture, and the set of the show, of the performance installed like in an installation. That's a detail. And so now I would like, Gabrielle, that we look at the teaser of this piece. To see a bit of another movement than me struggling with two computers. We're gonna watch the very short trailer of this piece, the resurrection plot, and then we go back to the reading.
You had to come to see the ritual of the pool and find your place by it. Pay your bits for the viewing, at the price of your nails or your salt, to those small merchants of earth without allegiance, the guardians of the pool.
I am the big heart lover with legs that molded the horn of plenty, that has produced the snail, that has whispered the truth to the snake, that once met the bold white man, who has the knowledge of all sciences of the world, who knows everything about the planets and the stars, who has eaten the twinkling eggplant that was contained in my love. I'm a snake, I'm a woman, I'm a giant puzzle, I'm a snail, I'm a madman, I'm a giant puddle. Look at the ground, it's a chain in the mud, it's a chain, it's a chain, it's a chain, it's a dark cloud, and it's ha 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 ha.
Thank you. I'm back.
Yes.
Okay, you see me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So, the gender body indeniably plays a significant role in my practice. In my latest research, focusing on religious rituals in Southern Europe, in Southern European societies, I consider these celebrations as important moments of collective corporal expression. For about 8 years, or actually 9 years today, I filmed a procession dedicated to the martyr Saint Sebastian, in the classical history both a gay icon and the protector of the plague. But in the context of this place, a real fertility cult celebrated only by men. From this popular tradition that I have attended every year since 2010, I invented a character, Giorgetto, a boy from the village who wants to replace the patron saint and be the center of attention. And I would like now that we watch the teaser of a feature film I'm making with this character called Giorgetto. So, Gabrielle, you will have to play the video number 1, actually, called Sebastiano Blue Film. Thank you. Thank you. So, am I here? No, the video. I have this. Gabrielle, can you make me appearing?
Yes.
You make me suddenly like Delphine Seyrig? Whoop. Okay. Here I am. Well, there was a little, sometimes the image were flipping, but I hope you get a bit a sense of this feature film that I am writing since now a lot of years, but that will be one day in our screen, cinema screen, hopefully. So in parallel with the writing of the scripts for feature great film, I decided to make a performance telling the story of this young Mediterranean boy and his sexual misadventure, a story inspired by my own adolescence in a Mediterranean city, Marseille. And I performed this piece in a Reformed church in Amsterdam, where I used both the theater and the chapel. You will see in the extract that we're going to watch that after a narrated stage performance, I try to involve the whole audience in a sort of reenactment of the original procession that I filmed for over 10 years now. But I also, and I also at the site, I've chosen to embody my hero, Giorgetto, in his fatal story. So let's watch now the teaser. No, it's not a, yeah, it's a teaser of this performance called, that has the same title of the feature film, Sebastiano Blue, a beautiful young man's insatiable need for attention and obsessive thoughts and fears about women led him down a tormented and fatal path. So, Gabrielle, please, could you play the video number 2, which is also called Sebastiano Blue, but it's the performance.
Sure.
Thank you.
And Giorgetto has a plan. He will substitute the statue of Saint Sebastian this afternoon and get everything for himself. All the babies, all the money, and yes, it's one beer. Yes, explosion. Screams, hey! Yes, light, yes. So I need everyone, stand up, please. This is happening now.
As you have seen, my performance ends with a choir. With a choir at the point of the death of the main character, Giorgetto. And at this moment of my life, I joined a women's choir in Berlin to 30,000 European voices and polyphonies that I'm still studying. And because every Thursday, surrounded by 25 women over 60, I started to become fascinated to the idea of menopause, what is for women in our society, and finally be outside of any sexual objectivation. So from this point, I've made different work about related to the aging of women's body. Peau de dame, chez madame in this case, peau de dame, lady skin in English, or shiny pink vinyl cutouts, that suggested naked women's bodies collapsed in pleasure or else melting into formless. Lady skin are flat and soft women that could be rolled and stored, hip up, throw to dress up tired furniture, slip like a suit, pin on the wall like a pin-up, creeping ladies, amorphous, nice hunting trophies, invaders. While I was producing the first series of Peau de Dame, Lady Skin, I made a piece where I asked my grandmother to perform for me her favorite poetry and her best dance, a sort of portrait of her as a meneuse de revue. My grandmother has been disabled since her childhood and is now 93 years old. We see her appearing and disappearing from this small-scale cabaret stage, and her special armchair seems animated. In the short extract we're going to watch now, you will only see the armchair and her voice. There is no subtitle. She is reciting a poem from the 18th century French Romanticism, film, and talking about the death of the wolf. So please, let's watch this extract where we only see the armchair. So anyway, let's watch it.
Il me regarde. Nos couteaux lui restaient au flanc jusqu'à la garde. Le clouait au gazon tout baigné dans son sang. Il nous regarde encore. Et puis, il se recouche, sans daigner savoir comment il a péri, meurt, sans jeter un cri.
I have told you it's Alfred de Vigny, the poetry. Anyway, La mort du loup, the death of the wolf. The figure of the old lady continued to haunt my work, and in a loose remake of the Jean Genet, of the Saint Jean Genet soul masterpiece, Un Chant d'Amour, a film showing the love of two inmates in a jail watched by a sadistic guard. In my version, I directed a gang of 4 killer grannies. I created another immersive installation, blending this film and the lady's skin in a sort of enchanted forest. That's the pictures of the film. This is enchanted forest. You see the screen with a film, and at the other side, you would have the lady's skin creeping down in the enchanted forest. I would like, please, Gabrielle, to play the video number 4, which is an extract of this loose remake of Jean Genet film. That is called, in my version, Un Chant d'Amour. Non, pas du tout. 1500 impur. 1500 impur, which is in German ausgeblutet. My translation is ausgeblutet or bled out in English. Let's watch this, please. Oops, pardon. I was getting too confident.
Ich hoffe, euch schmeckt mein Kuchen. haben wir die kleine Kiste und denken immer, ah, ohne die kleine Kiste könnte ja gar nichts sein und wir müssen es immer dabei haben. Wenn sie weg ist.
Voilà. For the past 2 years, I have been filming and collecting research and video footage from various Catholic processions in Southern Europe and different carnivals in Northern Europe. I am exploring now, and it's also the subject of the next, the film I'm gonna show soon, at the end of this month. I am exploring a visual language that associates ethnography and experimental cinema. Lockdown in Rome, I made a new work for, this was part of Paranoia TV, a curatorial platform broadcasting a series of performance-related works to the Steirische Herbstfestival in Graz. And this work is a video collage of clips found on Facebook of Easter masses and processions during the COVID-19 pandemic, titled Le Lente Passioni, which is slow passions in English. We see processions of 2, 3, maximum 5 people, all properly socially distanced, performing the usual religious rites and choreographies. Others celebrate for the camera from the protective space of their living room. And we're gonna watch this as a last extract. So video number 5, Gabriel.
ore 6, solo il canto degli uccellini ci accompagna in questo venerdì santo 2020, la Pasqua della prova. Adesso la Madonna corre veloce per arrivare nella sua chiesa affranta alla ricerca di qualcosa. Il giorno di
For me, the entwitting walls of ritual and the body express emotions which is extremely important to me. In my understanding of collective acts of devotion in which pre-modern practices and superstitions have been historically incorporated in Catholic rituals, and in my understanding of collective acts of transgression historically incorporated in the carnival. This interlacing of two different European popular rituals that seem completely opposite is now taking form in my last film, Fat to Ashes, to be presented at the Hamburger Bahnhof in Berlin in a solo exhibition later this spring. This is the way I work. There lies my artistic motivation. My fantasies, my joy, and my fears led the quest, and their ambition never releases purified, but rather amplified material, adventures laid out it an epic and cracked film of spectacles and of sound and vision. Coincidences and encounters also shaped my work. They lie under an animist charm too. I believe that poetry, satire, humor, theater, and witchcrafts are a way of reaching the level of empathy and ecstasy humans need to survive, and the last way of looking at life as a fascination adventure. But even there, I'm not certain of success. This is the end, my friends. And this is the end of my presentation. Yeah, and I'm happy to reply to questions if you have questions, and I hope I can reply to questions. I mean, yeah, I hope I'm able.
So thank you very, very much, Pauline, for this rich presentation, giving us so many insights in your ongoing and past projects, loads of visual video material. And while our audience is hopefully sending their questions into the chat, I wanted to start with a question to break the ice, sort of. Very formal thing. Now we've seen these video excerpts of moving image works, which we really have to imagine as embedded in immersive installations mostly, so that it becomes an either environmental kind of installation or even a performative event-based piece that is partly also constituted through the video material you integrate in those installations. Could you tell us a little more, since we've seen it now on the screen only, but I think in some of the images we could gain an idea.
Yes. The thing is that it's for me, it has been always a question of not making any choice at any moment of my life. Yes, of course, but when I started to make things, so it's yeah, it's I first always have a film in my mind. This is the main idea or the main desire. It's a narrative that takes shape in a film, but then I cannot stop. So then it's when the question of showing the film, if it's out of a cinema, so when the question of installing or showing this film in a museum space or in any space except cinema, I'm immediately thinking, oh, what would be the cinema, the ideal kino theater for this film? And then, I mean, with what I have, and I'm talking now about production budgets, I do something that would be closest to the closest to what I would dream having for such a film. So and then that's how that's where those immersive installations come from. And for example, for pardon, for Grota Profunda, I made the film in 2011, but then I've been invited to show it in Venice for the Venice Biennale. And I thought that I will give a body properly, literally, a body to the film. So I imagine that we will enter through a hand, because the film starts with a hand, because the history of culture symbolically starts with a hand, with a human hand. Because in wall paintings, a lot of hands are represented. So I have chosen to make a hand the proper entrance of the cinema, of the installation, in other words, of the installation. And then you will go through this hand, but even this hand has its complexity because it's a gorilla wife hand. So it's a gorilla with nail polish, which actually is really the copy of my grandmother, another one, not this one, another one. Hands like this kind of doigt boudiné, like fat fingers with a wedding thing. And anyway, something between an animal and a woman. And then through this hand, you would go into a gigantic placenta, and then you would lay down on this placenta. But the placenta itself is actually looking like a heart or a liver, whatever organ you would like to lay onto. So that's the story of Grota Profunda installation, because I've showed you the space. And for Qu'un sang impur, it's another story. I was already, it's another story, of course, but the film itself ends in a forest, so it's stupid as that somehow. And I was working with I was recycling theater decor. So what we see in the installation is a recycled, beautiful painted set that I have found in a place that takes care of recycling this type of material. And then I integrated, thinking, yeah, the film ends with a forest, etc., etc. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you so much for elaborating a bit how you flesh out your installation.
No, and for the next film, it's the same. It's first the film, and then, okay, what is the place to show this? And yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in the meantime, we have some questions coming in. First, the ones probably I can read. There is also someone who will join us. Giulia Rossini, I've seen you and you'll be speaking to us soon. We have a question here from Alexandra Rada. Thank you for the interesting talk. Could you please elaborate on your thought process behind creating the work Ausgeblutet?
Okay, say it again. What was what?
Could you please further elaborate on your thought process behind the work Ausgeblutet?
Ausgeblutet. Okay, so I imagine you want to know more than only the loose remake of Jean Genet, because that was the first the startup of the whole film. It was a commission from the Bergen Assembly. Can you do something with Jean Genet? And I was like, oh my God. And then but the thing that I had to think what was my huge love for Jean Genet was Un Chant d'Amour, before everything I've read from him that are also amazing. But this film just reminds us something that has changed my life. And I think I'm not the only one. And I thought, but the reason why also it was hard for me to elaborate on Jean Genet at this time, it's because I was already obsessed with the menopause and the sexuality of old women, or actually, yeah, what we call old women. And then I started many interviews with friends about their menopause. And then one day I woke up thinking, of course, like I'm gonna make the remake, whatever, how. I'm gonna make the remake of Un Chant d'Amour, but it will be, instead of this beautiful, extremely sexy and sexualized man body, it will be old women. And that's how it starts. And the question of bleeding between the legs, because the whole thing is that they when they see a young, cute guy, they just start to bleed between their legs. And it looks like a splatter movie. That idea came from, as you've seen in the teaser, that came from my feature film script, where my hero has this obsession of seeing all these women who take care of him. So in the traditional Southern European society, the grandmother, the mother, the sister too, taking care of the boy. And my hero has this obsession of seeing the grannies around from his village bleeding again. But it's an hallucination. And then from this idea that I had a long time ago, I thought, okay, let's make this menopause revenge movie into Un Chant d'Amour. So yeah, and then it became the reason why they are in the jail. It sounds a bit, voilà.
Okay. We have still some problems to get the voice of Giulia Rossini, whom I'm trying to bring in.
Gabrielle.
Ça y est, she's there.
Ah,
She's here.
Yes,
wonderful.
of course. I'm sorry. I'm just doing laundry and I didn't want to unmute before the time.
Perfect.
Good evening. And Pauline, je voulais dire merci beaucoup pour votre présentation. But so I will ask something about your working with multiple disciplines, and how does it feel for you, and if this will in your career, will there been maybe a problem or a limit in some occasion to people like kind of asking you maybe to restrain your work? Did this ever happen to you?
I must say, when I was a student, it was a problem. It was a problem for my teacher somehow, and I studied in Cergy, in the suburb of Paris. It was a bit of a problem for my teacher, and then I thought it would be a problem because they said it was a problem. And at the beginning, yeah, I felt at the very beginning, I felt it was a problem of comprehension as well, because it's such an accumulation of layers, and it's such dense, and not everyone can handle density, neither grotesque, neither a lot of things that are in my work. But I don't think it's only the, I mean, I would not say the multidisciplinary. Maybe it is a problem, but I have no idea, you know. It's no one confronted me saying like you, no, not like you, but no one has, I mean, it's interesting. It's very interesting. I don't know, you know, like you got, you're approached by people who are curious about your doing, but you never get such a comment. But probably it has been a problem for a lot of, I don't know, curator, critic, journalist, and so on, of course. But I have no idea. Maybe, but you know, like you have to protect yourself from such a thing, because it's not a choice. You know, it's not that I have thought, oh, I'm gonna make this that is gonna be multidisciplinary. It's just that I was obsessed by opera and, I don't know, cantor, all this Gesamtkunstwerk. I was obsessed about that from the very beginning. And it was a problem at the beginning, yes, because I thought it, but then petit à petit, je sais pas, you find ways.
Are you satisfied? Julia, thank you for your question. I will have to move on, although we could possibly go on and on about this topic. There is another question related to that one, which I'm coming back later, because I would first like to bring in Jörg Scheler and also Svetlana Higer, who both asked about the references of your works. I mean, not the references. I guess it's become clear that you really draw on a very rich cultural history, and you named some of your heroes. And while there was one aspect of the question probably more targeted to asking, are there other artists already working with such rich source material who inspire you? The other aspect brought in by Jörg Scheler was that he was thinking about Fellini a lot when watching the film's performances, and particularly regarding the Baroque carnivalesque atmospheres and the soundscapes. So he's intrigued, does his work play any role for you specifically?
Yes. No. Yes, and I would say also, like, particularly, particularly because since 2 years I live between Italy and here and Berlin. Of course, then I somehow rediscovered Fellini, or just had to recognize how much he has influenced my work. At the same time, I mean, the German cinema has influenced my work a lot also. And I don't know, I'm thinking of Ulrich Oettinger, Werner Schröter, Fassbinder, of course, and many, many others. And Jacques Demy is a French filmmaker who is also, like, I don't know, someone who is very, very inspiring, or who inspired me a lot. And now, I don't know, it's always a question that I should have my my list somewhere. Now I'm thinking just of the one I have right now. And you see, it's a lot in cinema, actually. it's a lot in cinema, but it's also, I study in France that in the years 2000, and it was extremely boring for me what was happening in the visual art in France. And if I'm boring, and I'm not saying that in a snob way, it's just that there was like no women first, or like 3, 4, 5. Otherwise it was, and also the style, the genre showed was very, I don't know, very boring at this time, and I did not feel not involved, but I did not feel connected to that at all. But then I had the chance to work a lot in London for a family reason, where I discovered, I don't know, the work of so many amazing artists. I don't know, of Sarah Lucas, of Steve McQueen, of Richard Billingham, of a lot of people. And then, but in France, the dance was amazing. That's what I wanted to say. In the 2000s, the dance scene was fantastic. And then there, I have been also inspired and influenced a lot by people who were making the dance scene, as well as Belgian artists who would be shown a lot in France. And I don't know, there was Platel, Alain Platel, but there was Claudia Triozzi, Jennifer Lassie, Latifa Labisi, Boris Charmat. I don't know. So it's a very, that's also why I could, you know, I've been influenced by cinema and dance a lot. And then, of course, that's also comes from this multidisciplinary thing. It's just that I have a too big appetite for for trying out everything, and also maybe having not enough the courage to really be in dance or really be in cinema. But who knows? I have time to. I hope to make cinema one day. You know, dance. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty rich answer to that question. The references from the realm of cinema, I think, are sometimes not like quotes, but we can really connect to what inspires you as a backdrop. So I was just wondering, since you're now planning this exhibition at Hamburger Bahnhof in Berlin, I happen to have seen the smaller exhibit with the other nominees of the Preis der Nationalgalerie. So congrats again on that prize. And Hamburger Bahnhof, it's kind of big also. I mean, I don't know in what spaces you will be showing your work, but having earned this recognition, how do you work toward this big feature that you also introduced a little bit with the film Fat to Ashes, about the ritual? Could you give us a tiny glimpse or preview?
Yes. So it will be in the Historische Saal, so the historic hall, the big vessel, not vessel. If you know this, for the one who knows the space, the space that is behind the reception desk, very big.
Yeah, like
very
a sort
high.
of big nave.
Nave, exactly. So for the one who've never seen it, it's a former train station. And then you really have, first it's like 70 meters long, 25 wide, 15 high, and you have all this metallic architecture that is shaping the space with a big window at the end. And I have chosen to build an arena. So it's an arena, amphitheater, an arena. So, and in this arena, that is not really an arena because you think immediately that it's a set, that it's so it's like a Cinecittà arena, but it's not only that, because when you enter it, you are in a space that recalls that I hope will remind you other elements of the film. The film is made out of 3 rituals: the carnivals of Cologne, the Köln Carnival, the Sant'Agata procession in Catania in Sicily, and the butchery of a pig. And then these 3 ritual cut together are somehow, I don't know, showing a bit like the, how can I say, what would be the European Middle Age entertainment as ritual and pagan, as a religion and pagan. And the space itself looks like the body of the pig, as well as the breast of Agatha. So Agatha is this martyr that has a breast cut, that in this film is a central figure. Yeah, so it's a proper Fellinian actually installation. This one I can say, yes, it is. And around this I have used the pillars, of course, the pillars being the place not only where martyrs are tied up, but also in our common vision, things that are make a rhythm in the street. So, you know, you have pillars and another pillars and another pillars, and I am making altars around these pillars, a bit like what you have in highways when there has been an accident. Someone is making an altar, and in this altar, I show a work that I have done with sex workers in Rome during the lockdown. During the lockdown, at Villa Medici, we had to make an exhibition, and I wasn't really happy about that until I found, because all my subject was cancelled, filming processions, and then I was completely lost and thinking, why making an exhibition while all this mess is happening and all this sadness and all this economical disaster? And then I thought, okay, maybe with the money of the institution, I will make a sort of little cooperative with sex workers. And then I have started this cooperative that we continue actually now, where I am asking them to draw their work, their performance, their sexual performance, and not only, also to draw their daily life. And I'm paying the price of what you would pay to a prostitute for time with her. And those beautiful drawings will be exhibited also in the Hamburger Bahnhof around the Fellinian Agatha, breast, pig, cake. Well, voilà.
Thank you so much.
But it's not finished.
That was even more than a glimpse. But
Yes,
I
sorry.
also see a new element entering the frame here, a sort of social activism by forming this cooperative, or I don't know, I mean, that will probably be for a discussion another time, because I still want to bring into questions from the students, and especially one who tells us that she's also working or exploring questions of ritual. So she writes, you mentioned the importance of ritual and collective corporal expressions. I myself am exploring the questions of how to integrate ritual into our Western ritualized world through art. Do you have any thoughts or even work about these questions? I mean, yeah.
No. No, no, because I haven't touched this. I don't think I have thought. I've never thought to myself impose some ritual. I have been quite passive, or like I've been. I have the feeling right now that's the only answer I have. Maybe in a couple of hours I will have another answer. I mean, we had a sort of ritual, or in art, we have a ritual that is already kind of structured. We are meeting for openings, and talks, and there is a performance or not performance, or but I don't. We would need to have a conversation, because I don't know what you have tried, what you are trying. So Elena, and I'm sorry that I don't know now, but I think it's yeah. I haven't thought yet, or not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's something you can bring to the week you're teaching here at the school. I think
I don't know,
still
but
upcoming.
I don't think we have a de-ritualized world, actually. It's just that, I don't know, yeah, you know, like money has been an answer for everything lately, you know, and so it's like, it seems to me that, yeah, money has been an answer to everything. So if there was a problem, it's not that you're thinking ritual, you're thinking money, you know, it's like with, I think it has been a cultural answer to a lot of problems. So this is what I have, this is the feeling I have. And so maybe, yes, you're right, we are in a de-ritualized world. I don't know, yeah, you know, I'm gonna say bullshit now, so maybe I should not.
I guess it's really both sides. As you pointed out, we're performing a ritual now with this art talk in a way. And we have to come slowly but surely to an end of this ritualized art talk performance. But before we close it off, I would like to bring in Aramis Navarro's question, asking how much are you aware about the uncanny in your work? The uncanny.
Yes, it's okay. Even though I am very much interested in theory and I'm working with my. It's gonna sound very stupid, but I'm really working with my unconsciousness. And I mean, if I have to work, you know, to start working, this is. It's more this state that I will look for, and for a lot of things, I look for this unconsciousness. So, and I think I also look for feeling the collective unconsciousness, and I think this is a recipe for any uncanny form. But you see how I am speechless. This is something I haven't completely elaborated. Of course, there is also the taste I have for works that themselves are completely uncanny, and I think I'm completely attracted by any kind of representation of deviance or deviance. And is it a definition of uncanniness? It might be. Yes, but when you have to, yeah, if you have chosen that making art is inventing forms, then you have to let your imagination and your consciousness walking a lot, and then some strange uncanny form appears. Yeah, I am not. No, you cannot be completely aware of the uncanniness of your work. No, you know that's a bit what you like and what you look for, but you never know that if you succeed. Of course, by definition, it's like being funny. No, it's like you never really know if you're funny. It's a risk.
Okay. I think in some cases when there is this uncanny element, you also break it quite consciously by introducing elements like a splatter movie aesthetics.
Yes,
or
true.
So
Yeah,
it's sort of a play around that notion of uncanny, if you will. I'd
yes.
say.
No, I think, I mean, I think the genre I'm playing with are super visibles, and of course they are quoting uncanniness also. So, and the dream, and I mean, it's like dream are amazing for that. It's yeah, funny that cinema and psychoanalysis were invented at the same time, right? So I don't know, they are for me linked to dream and uncanniness. Uncanniness, do you say that? The uncanny, I think. We say the uncanny.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thought-provoking discussion, and the questions certainly lead us to reflect more. But for tonight, I'm very sorry, but I have to close off or round off this art talk with Pauline Curnier Jardin. Thank you again very much, Pauline, for joining us and offering this rich material. And those who can are certainly also looking forward to visit your upcoming exhibitions, either in physical presence, IRL, or via other media.
Especially, when you try to work with like body and let's see.
So we're crossing the fingers for your opening, and thank
for
you
the
very
world.
much.
Yes. Yes, and thank you very much. Sorry, I was trying also to look at the questions at the same time. Thank you very much. And if for the one who, I don't know, are curious to see more, don't hesitate to contact me. I am super busy, but I can reply a bit later. And anyway, I will see some of you. I hope the students in May, probably online. Voilà. So I am very happy to meet you soon.